Welcome to Story Time, where real stories unfold. Stories that shock, stories that inspire, and stories that stay with you long after they're told. If you enjoy real stories, make sure you subscribe, follow, and like. New stories drop 3 times a week. Now, let's get into today's story. Welcome to Story Time, where Imagine 6 little girls waking up in a world where the word mom suddenly has no answer. The courtroom was silent that day, the kind of silence that happens before something heavy falls. A judge sat above the room, holding a decision measured in years. But far from that courtroom, 6 daughters were learning something far harder than any sentence the law could give. They were learning how to grow up without their mother. Tonight on Story Time, we tell the story of Ashley Lockhart, a mother of 6 whose life ended inside a car on a warm summer morning, leaving 6 girls to grow up around a loss no child should ever know. Stay locked in. The courtroom was quiet in the way storms hold their breath before breaking. Silence stretched across polished wooden benches, across folded hands and lowered eyes, across the slow rhythm of people waiting for words that could never bring anyone back. At the front of the room sat a judge, above everyone else, holding a decision measured in years. But far away from that courtroom, 6 little girls were beginning a future that no longer included their mother. Ashley Lockhart was 32 years old, a mother of 6 daughters. Her home was the kind of home that never truly rested. There were always voices calling her name from another room, always someone needing help with homework, someone needing their hair braided, someone crying over a scraped knee or a broken toy. Her life was loud, busy, constant. But inside that chaos was something sacred, because every day Ashley did the invisible work that holds a family together. She packed lunches. She woke children up for school. She calmed fears at bedtime. She solved problems no one else noticed, and in the eyes of her daughters, she was permanent. Children believe their parents exist forever, like the sun rising in the morning, like the sound of their own name being called from the kitchen. But permanence can break. And for Ashley Lockhart's daughters, it broke on a warm Saturday morning in early August. The city of Philadelphia was awake. Cars moved through intersections. Neighbors stepped outside. Life moved forward like any other day. But somewhere on the west side of the city, inside a gold Honda Odyssey, a moment of violence was about to change everything. A car is supposed to carry ordinary life, groceries in the trunk, music playing quietly, children laughing in the back seat. It is not supposed to become the place where trust collapses, where love turns dangerous, where a life ends. Witnesses later described seeing a struggle between a man and a woman. Police would receive calls about a fight, a disturbance, something not right inside that vehicle. But by the time help arrived, Ashley Lockhart was gone. A mother of 6 daughters had been killed, and the man arrested at the scene was someone the family already knew. Raymond Thompson, 34 years old, Ashley's boyfriend, and the father of her children. That detail made the tragedy heavier, because the danger had not come from a stranger. It came from someone inside the circle of trust. When the news spread, people heard one number that stopped them cold. 6. 6 children, 10 years old, 8, 6, 5, 4, and a baby only months old. A child still young enough that the smell of her mother was the entire world. 6 daughters, all depending on the same person, and suddenly she was gone. People always ask practical questions after tragedy. Who will take care of the children? Who will pay the bills? Who will explain what happened? But the real question is harder. How do you tell a child that their mother isn't coming home? Not tonight, not tomorrow, not ever again. The words never come easily. They arrive slowly, fragment by fragment. Mom can't answer the phone. Mom isn't coming home. Mom is gone. For the oldest daughters, the word murder may have reached them eventually, a word heavy enough to echo in their minds for years. For the younger ones, the absence would feel different, like a toy that never appears again, like a chair that stays empty, like a bedtime voice that disappears forever. Adults like to say children are resilient, and they are, but resilience is not protection. It is what happens after damage, not what prevents it. In the months that followed, the case moved slowly through the justice system. Court hearings, legal filings, continuances, paperwork stacking higher and higher. And while the legal process crawled forward, the children kept growing. Because childhood does not pause for grief. Birthdays came and went. School plays happened. Report cards were handed out. But at every milestone, there was an empty space where their mother should have been. Eventually, the case reached its final stage. Raymond Thompson entered a guilty plea. Third-degree murder. Words that sound clinical on paper, but words that carried the weight of a life taken. Then came the day of sentencing. The courtroom filled again. Family members, attorneys, observers, everyone waiting to hear how many years a man would spend behind bars. But in cases like this, there is no number that feels like enough, because no sentence can return a mother to her children. When the judge finally spoke, the room held its breath. 22 to 45 years, a sentence meant to measure accountability. The judge said he believed the defendant should serve the full 45, the maximum. But even that number carries a strange kind of truth, because Ashley Lockhart did not get 45 more years with her daughters. She didn't get another birthday with him, another first day of school, another bedtime story. A child can grow from kindergarten to adulthood in less time than that sentence. By the time those years pass, the baby will be grown, the oldest daughters will have lives of their own, and their mother will still be missing from every memory that came after that day. Violence rarely ends with one life. It ripples outward, changing the shape of families forever. 6 daughters will grow up carrying the quiet absence of the woman who once held their world together. The courtroom could only offer years, but the years cannot replace a voice, a hug, a mother's presence. Story must be told, because telling it refuses the silence that lets violence fade into statistics. Ashley Lockhart was more than the way her life ended. She was a mother, a caretaker, the center of 6 young lives, and those daughters are the reason her story matters. Before this story ends, take a moment to remember what this was really about. Not headlines, not courtrooms, not sentences measured in years. This was about a mother, Ashley Lockhart, a woman who woke up every day to the sound of 6 little voices calling her name. 6 daughters who believed their mother would always be there. And now, 6 girls are growing up, learning how to live in a world where that voice is gone. Stories like this remind us that violence never ends with one life. It reshapes families, it changes childhoods, and it leaves echoes that last for generations. So tonight, we remember Ashley, and we remember the children whose lives continue beyond the tragedy. Because behind every case, there are real lives still learning how to move forward. And that's the end of the video. If this video kept you locked in, make sure you like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Your support helps bring more real stories to the channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you're the first to know when a new story drops. We post real stories 3 times a week. Until the next one, stay locked in, real stories only. This is Story Time.